Well, it's been a while since we watched a Sargon video, and if there's one thing I've noticed over the years is that Carl has a very anti-science bent. He will say he's pro-science so long as he is very narrowly scooting the parameters down into what he favors or what is expedient for him politically. But overall, Carl is an anti-science moron who peddles misinformation. There was times when, even when I got along with him, I would have to correct him on scientific issues, and he would, in private, accept that he was wrong, but in public, never admit it, because that's the kind of person that he is. So, this is called Super Rats, Autistic Monkeys, and Pod Life.
Let's move on to what I'm going to call Cyborg Studies. We've, for some reason, decided that brain cells should be instructed to play Hogwarts Legacy.
Watch live human brain cells in a dish learn to play Pong. Huh, okay.
On their own, in a Petri dish.
I mean, I agree with that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Just drives more sales for Hogwarts Legacy.
So scientists...
Just random things to say. Okay, all right. It's weird to have to like inject the wizard game into it, but whatever.
have shown for the first time that 800,000 brain cells living in a dish can perform goal-directed tasks.
Cool.
There's something horrible about that, isn't there?
Why? Why would that be Why would that be horrible? That's awesome. That's so cool. What are you talking about? That would be horrible.
What do they mean by that? Like, physical brain
Well, they can
cells?
play ping pong. Literally playing pong. In a Petri dish.
Uh-huh.
Screaming.
They don't have mouths, Carl. They're cells. They How are they screaming?
Yeah, I don't think Anne would be pretty happy.
No. Well, I mean, this is precisely what Anne would be wanting for it, right? I'm going to keep you here alive.
All I can do is play ping pong.
Yeah, forever. Hate. But, yeah, no, the Dr. Brett Kagan's like, we've shown that we can interact with living biological neurons in such a way that compels them to modify their activities, leading to something that resembles intelligence.
Yeah, well, sort
Can
of.
these brain cells think? If they can play Pong, it sounds like they can.
Okay, it's a very, very tiny amount of neurons. That, I mean, by the proxy. Okay, if you have two neurons and they're connected, you know, they're sharing neurotransmitters back and forth. By definition, they're thinking, sort of, but that is so rudimentary. This is very, very bizarre to me.
That sounds horrible. Glad it's not my brain cells in that dish. But anyway, I just find...
Okay. How many did they say that they're what is it, like 8,000 or something like that? 8,000. It's like a few thousand brain cells inside every single human being's mind. There are 86 billion neurons. 86 billion. I mean, probably not in Carl's. I mean, you know, I imagine there's drastically less. But the idea that like a few thousand of them can think or have anything close to perceptual awareness is so fundamentally funny to me. To have a perceptual awareness, you have to be able to perceive. Cells cannot perceive. Cells react. Jesus Christ. There's like 100,000 in an ant's brain. Yeah. And ants are incredibly stupid individually. Collectively not.
And that's just weird and gross and horrifying.
No, it's true, though. I mean, if there's anything from I Have No Mouth and I'm a Scream that we learn, it's burn that Petri dish with fire.
Yeah, but
Put it out of its misery.
This is like...
Okay, tell me you don't understand anything about the works of Harlan Ellison without saying you don't know anything about the works of Harlan Ellison. Okay, whatever, guys.
Being in the end state, isn't it? Where it's just like, I can't even move. All I can do is think. I can't move or do anything. All I can do is play Pong.
Do you want to live like that, or do you want the bullet in the head?
I would rather the bullet in the head.
Yeah.
This is not like Johnny Get His Gun. Is it Johnny Get His Gun or Johnny Got His Gun? Legendary movie. They don't even know that they are a thing. They're oh my fucking god. Oh my god. How many brain cells is considered the tipping point for consciousness? It depends on who you ask. It really does. In and of itself, like the depending on who you're talking to, because we still don't understand consciousness. We don't. We have various different like areas that we kind of think might explain consciousness as like a byproduct of like our brains being more advanced, the way in which we crunch perceptual sense data. The way that I tend to think of it is that consciousness is by and large a holographic trick of the brain. It's probably one of the most important holographic tricks of the brain, you know. And by what I mean by holographic is the concept of imagination or forethought or like time-gated lasting perception. I'll give you an example. So if, say you're just a regular animal, right? And every time you eat from a certain type of flower, it makes you sick. When you see that flower, the ability to understand this like causal relationship causes a holographic perception of if-then or risk versus end result, et cetera, that sort of thing. Almost anything that has like an ability to sense something and encode memories, that's also a very messy term, has this concept of a higher conceptual awareness. Now, we have such a complex and amazingly genius wet machine in our head that we can do this to an inquantifiable level. That is truly mind-blowing if you understand anything about neurology. So in real time, as we experience the world, we're not really blindly and blasely experiencing the world. We're experiencing a holographic recreation based on our sense data. That's just how it is. So a lot of people believe that consciousness is largely just our capacity to do that. Animals have lower degrees of consciousness the further down it goes. Wow, that was a long tangent. Anyway, brains are awesome, dude. So, long story short, brains are really, really cool.
God, any day of the week. And the thing is, the research is now going to investigate what happens when they call it the dish brain is affected by medicines and alcohol. It's like, this is a human brain?
No, it's human brain cells. Human brain cells. And even, like, who cares? Who cares?
Like,
what if we get drunk?
You can.
What do you think?
You can. You could get it drunk. Yes. Yes, you could. You could give it antidepressants and it would have an actual physiological change. Yes. Yes, it would work. Yeah.
What's going to happen? It's Pong playing's going to improve for the first pint, and then it's going to go rapidly downhill after that.
Probably.
Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on. That was interesting. Why don't we start creating super rats, super intelligent brain rats?
Human brain cells transplanted in baby rats' brains grow and form connections. Neat. That's awesome.
That sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? Because human brain cells were transplanted into baby rats' brains, and they grew and formed connections. Turned out that 1/6 of the rat's brain was then human brain.
Awesome.
Super smart rats, Callum. Why not? What could go wrong?
That's really cool. Yeah. What's wrong with that?
Actually get smarter?
They don't say, actually. Because...
Just felt disassociated with all the other rats.
I don't know.
That's great.
Super smart brain rats running around. And the scientists are like, yeah, we're being paid for this.
It's really cool. It's super cool. If you make rats have denser neural connections, I mean, like the whole concept of like a human neuron versus a rat neuron, I don't know if there's really that much drastic amount of difference. Largely what you see, especially when it comes to mammalian species, is the complexity of the brain structures, which is the larger things or aspects of the brain and how much they're developed. We have a very large prefrontal cortex, which is why we got this big, flat, goofy thing up here instead of having like a very streamlined animalistic face. Rats are also very intelligent already. Yeah, I agree.
Why? Why are we paying you to insert human brain cells
Why is anybody paying you to destroy their brain cells?
into a rat brain?
Well, Julian over here, he wanted to keep pets. Had some money left over in the budget, so
Yeah. But the thing is, he's like, it's an important step forward in progress into understanding and treating brain diseases.
Yeah.
It's like, really?
Yes.
That's how we treat brain diseases, is it?
Yes. One of the problems that we have as we're trying to develop like treatments and medicines for human beings is we try to test things on animals. There's a lot of ethical issues with it. There are ways to do it which are a lot less cruel and awful, but unfortunately, animal testing is really invaluable. I hate to say it. I love animals. I wish it wasn't necessarily the case. But even animals that can be a pretty close analog to human beings have drastic differences. And there has been plenty of times where it seemed like a drug was working really, really good in rats. They tried it on humans. It kind of worked, but then it also didn't work, or there was a problem with it or whatever. If you can more closely make an analog of a human brain in a rat and then test those types of treatments on those rats, you will make more effective medicines. Yes. How is this hard?
yeah, we're gonna start killing rats and putting rat brains.
If
in
we
human
didn't
brains.
understand, if we didn't make these super smart rats, then we wouldn't understand why you got dementia. It's just off the table. It's the only way to do it.
Is he doing it for a rat transplant or?
I think he's just doing it for the fun of it.
No, 'cause
Maybe I can
isn't
get
that
the
a thing,
rats to play ping pong.
There are like some pig organs or whatever, or
Sure.
some skin you can put in a human, and
Yep.
it won't just immediately throw up.
Yep.
So I don't know. You don't want the rat brain.
I don't know. How
Get-
about
I'm I will take a rat over Carl any day.
autistic monkeys?
I think monkey brain would be better. Yeah.
Let's go to the next one, John. Well done, science.
Does he really need a third guy in this studio to switch over the article? Maybe spend the money instead on somebody to fix that ambient god awful sound in your audio recording. It's just spitballing.
What a brilliant achievement.
What is the?
Behold, I have created an autistic monkey.
Does he harass Shia LaBeouf or?
No.
This is back in 2016. That's 7 years ago? Why are you reporting on this after 7 years? This is weird.
Yeah, he's on 4chan right now. No monkey in all of human history, in all monkey history, has ever had autism before, but scientists have made it. Why? Guess why? Guess why? This is
Tools for autism?
exactly the classic excuse of the scientist. Well, I did this horrible demented thing because maybe it'll help us learn how to cure it. It's like what invoking it in monkeys now.
There's a whole long discourse on curing and autism that we're not getting into, not right now. That is a quagmire, and it will take an hour of talking and a whole lot of tiptoeing around. We're just gonna skip past it.
I think there are plenty of autists to test on already in the
Yeah, exactly.
human world.
Oh,
But
that's
according to nature, these monkeys.
good take. Yeah, good take, Callum. Good take. Okay, Jesus Christ.
He started showing the classic signs of the disorder, including poor social skills.
What are your guys' excuse? I don't know why Carl is laughing. He's literally had fish thrown at him because he has such poor social skills and such demonstrably bad opinions. I've never known an autistic person have fish thrown on them. All right?
Monkey Pepes being posted. Why can I not find girlfriend? Am I autistic, Paul?
Literally, it's hoped the research could lead to a greater understanding of autism. It's just okay.
Girl I have crush on asked about hyperinflation. I explained about hyperinflation, and then she walked away uninterested. What did I do wrong?
Anyway, moving on. Let's get out of the world of cyborg nonsense.
Okay.
And go into the world of Brave New World. In fact, our Brave New World. Don't worry about this. I meant to take this one out. So let's go back to the line. Remember, we were going to live in the line in Saudi Arabia. Well, it's actually under construction now.
Yeah, I think they're still going to build it, but it's not going to work.
Oh,
No,
Neom.
it's
Yeah,
obviously
yeah,
nonsense.
yeah.
Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman said the line will embody zero-gravity urbanism. Brilliant. The design revealed today for the city's vertically led communities will challenge the traditional flat, horizontal cities and create a model for nature preservation and enhanced human livability. That's great.
Do you know RT Game? We spoke about his channel before.
Not a fan.
In City Skylines, you build like roads, and then you put the houses or
game.
whatever on the roads and the
Good
police
game.
stations and whatnot. Anyway, he had this idea of like, what if I just build a road that goes straight forever, and then just keep putting houses on it and one. And so if you wanted to turn around, you'd have to go right to the end of the infinite road.
That sounds insufferable.
But there'd be no traffic.
That's true. There's
Anyway.
no turning, so...
He built it. And it just reminds me of this so much. He made a video the other day being like, the Saudis stole my idea. He's not wrong. The thing is, he obviously points out a great point.
I really don't like that this dude likes playing one of my favorite games. That kind of makes me unhappy, but whatever.
You know when you have like a police station?
Yes.
And you put it in the middle of a city, and then there's like a circle of where it can get to at a given time? What if it's on the line?
Well, you need more police stations.
Yeah, it's not profitable. We're just on that fact alone.
Yes. Not a...
Okay, I don't know how much I really care about them discussing Neom. So for those who don't know, in Saudi Arabia, they're making a city, and it is built laterally. They're carving down deep into the ground and making this like intentional city that's supposed to be as close to carbon neutral as possible. It's supposed to be the city of tomorrow, et cetera, et cetera. If they want to spend all their money on making that thing, I'm fascinated to see what it's going to look like. I'm fascinated. I really am not a big fan of Saudi Arabia for a multitude of reasons. But I don't see any reason with like trying to check it out. One of the things that I've noticed about people like Carl. Oh boy, okay. They are going to talk about something really spicy here in a second. Let's see. What is this? Hang on. I just want to know. Futuristic floating sea pods will offer eco-friendly aquatic living. Yeah, we'll look at this in a second. Is like these guys are so terrified of the future. They're rooted so strongly in like traditionalism that the concept of doing something different is horrifying. Like these are the kinds of guys that feverishly masturbate to pictures of Greek statues and that kind of stuff. It's just really obnoxious. And I wouldn't really mind if they're like, well, I don't quite favor that. But this like dismissive, ho-hum, things are so much better when people died of typhus kind of attitude is so inane and it's so dumb. We'll never go back. Either we're going to get our post-apocalyptic future or we're going full steam ahead, guys. That's all there is to it.
These pods, these are houses, or like something equivalent to houses. Can you even imagine how awful that would be?
Why?
Like, you can't go for a walk. What you can do? You go for a swim.
Do you go for a lot of walks?
Oh, yeah.
Terrible idea. Terrible idea these are, right?
Do you go
this
for
is a
lots of
company
walks?
that they're investing in the world's first eco-restorative homes in the form of floating pods that sit in the ocean.
Thunderfoot did an extensive video on Neom, and he says it's not really feasible. I mean, sure, absolutely. But the thing is, like, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of technical problems to the idea of Neom. I by no means am, like, looking forward to it. What I'm looking forward to is people attempting, trying, you know, and if it doesn't work, them then having to be forced to innovate and having all the money they need to innovate. That is what I am excited about. That's what I think we should be doing more of, you know?
Again, it's just dumb. Never going to work.
Obviously dumb.
Like, I remember a guy showing me, like, cities in the sea, and he was like, this is the future. I'm just like,
No, it's not. That's retarded.
you've not seen how much whatever. I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, exactly. But they hope...
See this dirt I live on? See it doesn't rust away? Like, I can live here and it'll be fine in 100 years.
Yeah. So you'd be not just living in the pod, you'd be living in the sea pod. How wonderful. And they look tiny as well. Just like... terrible. Anyway, moving on.
Isn't that Azkaban, actually?
Sorry?
I'm pretty sure Azkaban is meant to be like a prison in the middle of nowhere in the ocean.
Yeah,
in
I
the
mean...
Harry Potter series.
There's a lot of those in popular culture, and and in real life too. Is this how much they're gonna comment on this? Like, what's the? Oh, it would be terrible. You can't go for a walk. What? That's it? Like,
But but I don't know. I've never watched Harry Potter. But the point is, these will be marketed not as prisons, but as eco-friendly homes.
So what?
Because that's how you get.
That's eco-friendly.
That's how you get the Californian millennial to actually go and live in a prison in the middle of the ocean.
Okay. Counterpoint. If these float, then it's never going to flood. And if they generate their power either through solar or through wave generation, then they're completely renewable. Like, what in what world? What? I mean, look, if you don't want to live in the sea pod, don't live in the sea pod. Nobody's going to force you to live in the sea pod. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, why are you whining?
You're saving the sea. Anyway.
Someone should make that advert. You know the guys at Babylon Bay? They should make the prison saves the world advert.
Yeah.
Come and live in our prison cell.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, Babylon Bee, the pinnacle of comedy there, which now I'm understanding exactly why Carl is so incredibly unfunny now. He follows the same script as the Bee. He's probably getting the same marching orders as the Bee. Like, this is unfunny, boring, like, inane. Azkaban is literally inspired by Alcatraz. I figured it kind of was, yeah.
Think of the carbon emissions that you're restricting by living in a prison.
Alcatraz? Oh my god, so carbon efficient.
Absolutely. The footprint of Alcatraz was brilliant. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about families. So this was floated the other day. Now, this was just a quote-unquote philosopher who was an associate professor of philosophy at the University of Oslo, so average Scandinavian woman, is like, why don't we use brain-dead women as baby surrogates? That's
Okay.
not awful in every way, shape, or form, is it?
Okay, question. Why? It's an interesting philosophical question, isn't it? Why? Why is that awful? In what way? Like, I have a knee-jerk reaction to it of like, ugh. But then I thought about it for just half a second. I'm like, huh. So let's see what they have to say, and then we'll talk about it.
But it's not terrible.
Just work for the Mechanicus. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, I thought that brain cells playing Pong for eternity in a jar was bad, or turning monkeys autistic was bad. But surely using a brain-dead woman
I want a birthing servitor.
as a birthing servitor is just evil, right?
Why?
Like, it's just surely that's just. I mean, it's hideous.
Why?
You go into the hospital and there's just a woman unconscious on a bed.
Not unconscious. Brain dead.
It's just 20 years from now. Why do the Muslims hate us?
Yeah,
Why do they think we've been detached from God in the West?
That depending on which Muslims you're talking about, that's now. But I think probably a lot of modern Muslims probably wouldn't have as much of a problem with this as you guys do. I want to know why. Why are you opposed to this? Why do you think it's evil? Why?
She herself admits that this is undoubtedly disturbing,
Yeah.
but would help parents who wish to have children but can't. And it's like, listen, right? This might have been a solution like 30 years ago when we were primitives. We were actually savages banging rocks together. We were like, okay, we've got a brain-dead woman. We've got the technology to keep her alive. We may as well impregnate her and produce children. But how many children? No.
Well, this is how Bill Clinton used to.
Yeah, you don't know what the 90s were like, right? This is
The weird rock banging time.
before we had the internet, right?
Okay.
So before we had the internet, this is the kind of level of technology we had.
Grog vote Bill Clinton.
Yeah. But now we're living in the future. We're not just gonna. I mean, like it. We are concerned above all things about the line going up, and one woman as a surrogate, brain dead surrogate, surely can only produce one child a year, and then she's surely only got like 15 years worth of prime brain dead baby making years in her, right?
Okay.
That's not good enough. The line is not going up enough, right? What we need is a giant factory for babies, which is what's been proposed. Let's watch
So now, wait, has it?
this.
Let's see. Wait. Okay. I want to know. So they're getting into the whole baby pod thing, and that's fine. We'll talk about that too. Before we talk about the baby pod thing, we need more people. Yes, no. I mean, I feel like the whole overpopulation versus underpopulation conversation is a lot more nuanced and also not very critical on a species level. There are definitely some countries that are having some issues, but let's see. So, okay. If you have a person who is brain dead and they have the ability to produce a child for people who are unable to produce a child, you have to ask yourself, what are the ethical problems that you have with it? Is it because it makes you uncomfortable, or is it because you can actually say with an actual justifiable ethical argument that it is somehow incorrect? And for that, you have to ask, what is actually the harm? If their family is like, okay, sure, it's like an organ donation, sure. They're no longer there. They are brain dead. The person we knew is gone, and we consent to that being done, then who cares? Like, honestly, it doesn't really matter. Consent isn't a thing that can be obtained by that. So, sort of. But here's the problem. If we have to, it comes down to an ethical question where we have to ask ourselves what actually defines a person and gives a person some sense of consciousness, or even, I mean, it's going to be easy for people to say the soul. Then we have to base it on that. But if we're talking like effectively a dead body that's still alive, and the family is fine with it, because at that point, like, it's just meat. It's just meat. The only connection that person has to something of a higher ethical order is their family, because that person is gone. Gone. Dead is dead. Gone is gone. So it's just one of those things. Why is this in my recommended? Because you need more highbrow intellectual content in your life. That's why. So that's why I'm saying, made it my point with the resub. Yeah, sorry, they don't. The resubs, when I'm in this screen and I'm recording, the resub stuff doesn't play. We'll play it afterwards. But yeah, like, so the concept of this, I don't think if you are able to achieve the consent of the family that it is ethically inconsistent. However, am I comfortable with it? No, it still weirds me out. It does. Maybe that's my own preconceptions and my own concepts. Like, it weirds me out, but in like on an intellectual basis, I can't really see anything wrong with it. So, let's look at their takes on the baby pods.
Introducing Ectolife, the world's first artificial womb facility, powered entirely by renewable energy.
Okay.
That's
Ectolife allows infertile couple to conceive a baby and become the true biological parents of their own offspring.
Cool.
It's a perfect solution for women who had their uterus surgically removed due to cancer or other complications. With Ectolife, premature births and C-sections will be a thing of the past.
Nice.
Ectolife is designed to help countries that are suffering from severe population decline, including Japan, Bulgaria, South Korea, and many others.
Cool.
The facility features 75 highly equipped labs. Each state-of-the-art lab can accommodate up to 400 growth pods or artificial wombs. Every pod is designed to replicate the exact conditions that exist inside the mother's uterus.
Okay.
A single building can incubate up to 30,000 lab-grown babies per year.
There's a line that's going up
Awesome.
really fast. 30,000 cloned foot soldiers a year.
Cloned
brilliant.
foot soldiers.
Do you
I
remember?
mean, you're not going to find 30,000 brain dead women a year.
Did you ever watch The Island?
Yeah, no, I actually kind of gotta agree on this. I think the baby pods are a way better idea. Way better. Absolutely, way better idea. Then we don't even have to worry about like the ethical considerations of like, you know, somebody who suffered brain death. Although it is fun to like think about. But yeah, sure, the baby pods. Like, what's wrong with that? That sounds great.
I recommended it too. It's a movie about exactly this, except that they grow them as well.
Oh, do they?
And then they just turn them into an organ harvesting operation. Because they grow them to the exact age they want them, and they just rip out the organs.
Well, that's awful.
And then recycle.
That was called... What was that movie? Oh, man. What was the name of that movie? The Island. The Island. Yeah, not a bad movie, actually.
But yes, I mean, this is literally Brave New World. They are literally going to decant babies out of these bottles.
That sounds great.
And there we go. That'll be baby. And you won't even need to actually push them around yourself. They've created smart strollers. So the decanted babies will just be taken around by
That sounds awesome.
computers. I mean,
Why do you guys have a problem with this? Look, the amount of human suffering that happens because of complications with birth, with pregnancies and then with birth, the being able to literally see a baby developing and be able to utilize the right types of medical procedures and medicines to make sure that what might be a failed birth, a failed pregnancy, or an extreme disability is addressed and dealt with. Like, why would you have a problem with that? Because the whole thing is, in order to do this, you have to somehow embrace this idea that nature knows best, and that these things going badly and going terribly is a part of human nature, and it's how it should be. Because nature is why these things happen. We don't make miscarriages. Well, we can make miscarriages happen, but they naturally do occur. So being able to like rectify that, I don't know why anybody would want to do that. Would be against it, you know. Pregnancy is difficult even for a healthy woman. Why not get rid of it? Yeah, why not? I don't care. Why would anybody or not even necessarily get rid of it? Give anybody the option. Just give anybody the option. Gattaca? I mean, yeah, there's that too. Yeah. Getting into like designer babies and things like that. I suppose but that's a different argument than just being like, we oppose technology because it's scary and we don't understand it and we're a bunch of nerds. So, yeah, I don't know. Luddite of a cod over here. Fascinating stuff. Big brain hours.